I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Maybe you've said or thought those same words before. Maybe you know someone whose family member committed suicide. Maybe you know a friend who lost a loved one in a tragic accident. Maybe your brother had his job cut unexpectedly. Maybe your neighbor suffered a miscarriage. Maybe your sister was unexpectedly dumped by a longtime boyfriend. What do you do? What do you say in moments like that? Or maybe you've been the one affected by suicide, a tragic death, a miscarriage, an unexpected job loss, or the unexpected ending to a dating relationship. What do you expect someone to do or to say in moments like that? We all struggle to know what to do and what to say in times like those. And if we're on the suffering side, we generally all know what we long for. We know what we long for from others in times like that. The reality is, no amount of words can heal the suffering or disappointment or loss that any person experiences. And no amount of meals or cards or flowers given in moments like that, no amount of doing seems to heal the suffering or the disappointment or the loss. My experience and observation is that most people just don't want to be alone in their suffering. Most people want others to be with them as they process the pain. Most people want others to be with them as they process what steps to take next. We see that and we intellectually know that, but we're captivated by an imagination of dealing with suffering and disappointment and loss by doing or saying anything that seems to fix or justify what had just happened. We're captivated by an imagination of dealing with suffering and disappointment and loss with doing anything other than simply being with people in those moments. We lack an imagination for solidarity, which is another way of saying that we lack an imagination to simply be present with people in their suffering, in their disappointment, and in their loss. As much as actions and words are important aspects of following Jesus, we see this all throughout Scripture. Jesus models it and he calls us into it. But actions and words are not the only way to participate in the life that Jesus calls us into. Solidarity, or being with us in our suffering and in our disappointment and loss, is what God has been doing all along with us in our suffering, in our disappointment, and our loss, and the loss and disappointment and suffering of humanity. And Jesus highlighted this reality of God in the clearest way through his death. Being present with another in their difficulty is how Jesus established God's kingdom here on earth. Jesus highlights that being present with another in their difficulty is participation in God's kingdom. And he calls us to have faith to follow his lead. Jesus is calling us to have faith that being present with another in their difficulty is how we get to participate in God's kingdom on earth today. Being present with another in their difficulty is how we get to participate in God's kingdom on earth today.